It is Election Day in the Sooner State. Good evening, I'm Dave Morris from the Opelka Studios. Voters went to the polls to cast their ballots on school bond measures and city council races. Here in Oklahoma City, voters will decide whether Mayor Mick Cornett will be in office for a fourth term or whether Ward 2 Councilman Ed Shadid will take the reins. Other mayoral candidates on the ballot include Phil Hughes and Joe B. Sarge Nelson. Well, the polls have been closed for about an hour right now, and in that mayoral race, 24 of 235 precincts reporting in Mayor Mick Cornett with 67% to Ed Shadid's 30%. We have crews at watch parties and monitoring information on all the metro races. Let's get to it here at the Google Hangout, where we have some reporters at the watch parties and in the newsroom. With Mayor Mick Cornett's watch party, we have Graham Brewer. At Shadid's watch party, we have Kyle Fredrickson, and joining us from the newsroom, Silas, Allen, and Bill Crum. And Bill, I want to start with you. You went to all 235 precincts today, right?
Get to 3 or 4, started in southwest Oklahoma City and made my way up to Exchange Baptist Church on Exchange Avenue, close to the river, and down, not far down the street from the Farmers Public Market, where Shadid is having his watch party tonight, and then over to northeast to Wildwood Baptist Church.
So Bill, you interacted with some Oklahoma City residents today. What were they talking about, and what did you hear?
Well, it was interesting, and I think it's indicative of the way the early vote is looking, with Cornett taking almost 70% at this point. I met one couple down at the Rock Church on South Penn Avenue, down close to the zone where the tornado hit last May 20th. And they didn't want to give me their names, but they said they had voted for Shadid because they felt that he would be good for public safety, and they supported the support that he's offered to the police department. Of course, he had the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police and the fire department union as well, the International Association of Firefighters. But everybody else I talked to, and that was about 4 or 5 people who, I talked to more than that, but some people didn't want to talk to me. You know, they said, how I voted was private, and it was cold outside, and I said, okay, that's fine. I'll let you go. But everybody else I talked to was a Cornett voter. One, for instance, was Becky Benton, who's a teacher, and I was just actually working on my story. She was telling me an interesting story about how she's got 2 kids at Southmore High School, and she works concessions down at the Chesapeake Arena during Thunder games to raise money for a band trip that her kids are going to be taking. And she said that she's met Cornett there. He's come by and spoken to the volunteers working in the concession booths, and that really made an impression on her. She said to me, at least this is the quote I got down in my notes, that personal touch was meaningful. And I think that really says a lot about Cornett's tenure as mayor of Oklahoma City. I think he's met a lot of people, he's gotten to know a lot of people, and I think that personal touch is being reflected in the results that we're seeing tonight.
We're chatting with the Oklahoman's Bill Crum right now. It's a Google Hangout, election night in Oklahoma City, right here on newsok.com. Bill, I have one last question for you. From what you saw, how was the voter turnout?
Yeah, it looked, moderate. At the Exchange Baptist Church by about 6 p.m., they have 2 precincts there, 207 and 208, and they had 121 voters by then. And there's 235 precincts in this election. If you figure that they averaged, 100 or a little bit more across the city, and of course I'm guessing now that church might have represented an average, but if so, you'd come in somewhere around 25,000 voters. It's going to be about 9 or 10% of voters, and it's horrible. Yeah, but for an election, a local election like this, to see it come in 9 or 10% is going to be about what we expect.
Gotcha, Bill Crum. We know you're a busy man. I'll let you get back after that story. Thank you for your time tonight. You can follow him on Twitter at William Crum. He will be updating our live election page among other reporters tonight on newsok.com. Currently, after 56 precincts reporting, Mayor Mick Cornett with 63% of the votes. And let's go to his watch party where our Graham Brewer is at the Grill on the Hill. And Graham, what's the scene there?
It's pretty busy here. There's quite a few people. You can't really get too good of a sense of it from my little computer screen, but it's a pretty packed house here. Senator David Holt, a Republican from Oklahoma City, just got up on their mic and announced the poll numbers. And Senator Holt was a former chief of staff for Mick Cornett. He's one of the many people here throwing his support, including Governor Fallon, who showed up here about 15 or 20 minutes ago. Governor Fallon told me that she's very optimistic about the future of the city under another tenure of Mick Cornett, and she noted the city's low employment rate and that she'd like to see the city continue to play a leadership role in the state. Made note of the success of the Thunder and the Canal and the many restaurants and businesses that are along that as well.
Speaking of restaurants and business, Mayor Mick Cornett having his watch party tonight at the Grill on the Hill, where our Graham Brewer is joining us here on our Google Hangout here on newsok.com. Graham, have you ever had the burgers there?
No, actually I haven't, and I'm kind of a burger fanatic, so everyone keeps telling me that I really need to have a slider, but hey, I'm on the clock.
You're on the clock tonight. Hey, how's the camp there? Are they pretty confident tonight?
How's the what?
How are the people there? How's the camp? Are they pretty confident?
Yeah, everyone's in a really good mood. There's it's pretty loud in here. A lot of people walking around talking. I haven't seen Mick Cornett yet, but obviously a lot of people got very excited when the governor walked in, and yeah, it's a pretty jovial scene.
Chatting with our Graham Brewer, he will stay on the scene tonight, the Grill on the Hill for Mayor Mick Cornett's watch party. Let's go over to the watch party where Ed Shadid is having his at the farmers market. Our Kyle Fredrickson is there. And how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. The music's pumping. There's no sign of Ed quite yet, but it's definitely a hop-in place right now.
Well, Kyle, who have you spoken to and what are they telling you?
Well, it's a very diverse group of people, and everyone has kind of had similar messages that they're here because they want a diverse Oklahoma City. Chris Bryant is 28. He's a counselor in Oklahoma City. He told me that it's very meaningful to be involved in the grassroots level and to know that he's part of something bigger than himself. He's passionate to work alongside people who care about their neighborhoods and a lot of things that Shadid touches on in his campaign. I also spoke with Robin Sellers. She's 56 and a caretaker in Oklahoma City. And I think she kind of summed up the vibe here, which is, everyone here, win or lose, feels that they've won just because Ed decided to run and raise all of these issues. Everyone's excited about knowing the results, but we're just hyped and happy because it's a different game now. So the anxiousness of knowing what the vote total seems to be a little bit outweighed by just the excitement of everyone here, just coming together and hoping that they're starting something that can continue to be a presence in this community. And hopefully they want a leader who kind of embodies all of these ideals that they talked about.
We're chatting with Kyle Fredrickson. He's at Ed Shadid's watch party tonight at the farmers market. Kyle, one last question for you. The farmers market is actually a pretty big building. How's the crowd there, and how did the crowd feel about the number of voters that they got out and got to the polls today?
I think the crowd here is pretty energetic. It's kind of cold in the farmers market, not a lot of insulation. I'm still wearing the wool coat here.
You should take Bill Crum's hat.
Right, yeah, I could have used it next time. But no, I think they're happy with voter turnout. Like I said before, for them, it seems like tonight is just kind of the final step or the final chapter into all these other things they've been hoping to put towards the forefront. And win or lose, they're just happy with everything they've accomplished so far. So I wouldn't say that they're conceding. They're still hoping for a Shadid victory, but they're also realistic about the poll numbers, and they're just excited to be part of something like this at the grassroots level.
Very good, sir. Nice work. That's Kyle Fredrickson. He's out of the farmers market. We have 74 precincts. Again, there are 235 precincts for the City of Oklahoma City mayor's race, and at this point, Mick Cornett was 63%. I'm going to move on now to Silas Allen. He's in the Oklahoman's newsroom. He's covering other metro area elections. And Silas, let's start out with Rush Springs. That's one of the races you're following tonight.
It is. There's a bond issue going on in Rush Springs. It's for $9.25 million. At last check, there were 4 precincts of 5 reporting, and it was carrying 55% approval. But as you know, in Oklahoma, any school bond issue needs 60% approval to pass, so it's down right now. I spoke to the superintendent, and he said that the bond issue is supposed to go to fund a number of construction projects around the district. They want to build 10 classrooms, and those classrooms would be built as storm shelters, and so would the hallways around them. So they would be a kind of a dual-use storm shelter and classroom area.
Very good. We're chatting with Silas Allen. He's in the Oklahoman's newsroom tonight. A busy night for the Oklahoman, covering all the elections around the state. Another election you're following is in Edmond, where residents in the Deer Creek School District are looking at a combined $5 million in school bonds on the ballot.
Right, and at last check, that was carrying about 69% of the vote, and like I said, that also needs 60% to pass, so it's doing well right now. Though those bonds would go to 4.4 million of those would go for construction projects around the district, and then there's another 600,000 for school buses and other transportation equipment.
Silas, what about some other races? I believe there were in Midwest City, Yukon, and Chickasha. There were some city council races.
Right. There are 3 races in Midwest City going on right now, and those are for Ward 1, Ward 3, and Ward 5 City Council. And at last check, Daniel McClure had a pretty solid lead for Ward 1, and Christine Allen had a pretty solid lead for Ward 5. But Ward 3 was pretty up in the air, and there are several precincts left to come in, so that's anybody's bet at this point.
All right, Silas, I know it's a busy night for you. I'll let you get back to it. Much appreciation to our reporters in the Oklahoman's newsroom tonight. Not only are they on deadline, they're busy working sources, and they're chatting with us here on this Google Hangout. We'll wrap it up at this point. For Bill Crum, for Graham Brewer, who else we have out there? Silas Allen and Kyle Fredrickson. Big thanks to them for being out in the field and for playing along with us on this Google Hangout. Once again, complete election results and stories can be found throughout the night on newsok.com. I believe we have the hardworking Matt Carney slinging code and stories on our website tonight. For my crew here in the studio, Paige Dillard, Todd Frazier, and Kyle Roberts, we'll sign off at this point. Election results throughout the night on newsok.com, and we'll have more video updates as well. Have a great night, everyone.